Hello YouTube friends, Susan here again with another update on my dendrobiums. These guys, I bought them in 2018. It was April actually, and I've had them inside my house, inside the living room there for quite a while, and then I noticed they were not doing too well, and so I brought them. I got a hold of the seller and I emailed him and I talked to him about it because I thought, well, look, 3-4 months has gone by and nothing's going on with it. It's just there in the pot. And he gave me a few pointers, and so I took that interaction, and what he said was, where do you have the plants? That's his first question, and I told him. And so he said, well, if you can put them in the sun, they can do bright light and even direct sunlight. So I was very surprised at that, even though I kind of read it in the leaflet that they sent me. I read it says put it in the sunlight, but I always thought they had a big shade cloth over it, and it was sitting getting a little sunlight that way. Well, anyway, he says just put them in the sunlight, direct light. So that's what I did. I brought them out in the veranda here, but I actually had them sitting on the floor here, just like how I have this one here, in the direct sunlight. And I had them there for all of the latter part of summer when it was getting less hot. It wasn't that much heat in the hundreds. It was like now down to just the 80s and under. I put them out to get that type of sunlight, and I left them out here for all of last year, winter, and into this year. And he also said don't feed them after August. Put them outside. So they've been outside since August, and I haven't given them any fertilizer that had high nitrogen. So he said if you're going to feed them with something that does not have nitrogen and oh dear, one other I don't know, one other ingredient in the food supply, and stop giving them any fertilizer after August. Just stop it altogether. And so I did that, and I just continue watering it from August right up until December. I didn't water it that much. November, December, not much watering, just a little bit now and again. And I also repotted the plant from where it was, and I have them in Laker pellets and some moss inside because I kind of wanted to have them. Didn't want to have to water them all the time if they were in just the Laker pellets. So I do have a little moss in between of those pellets on all the plants. And I've noticed, a few months ago I sent him an email with a picture saying that, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on. These looks like keiki. And they were really tiny little buds coming out like you see right here. And it was sort of it didn't look like a bloom bud, by the way. It just looked like this one, more like this one right here. See, it has a pointy tip. And I thought it was going to be another keiki because I had another one that just gave me 2 keikis. And those keikis, I showed it in one of my other videos, where they started to grow and they remain stunted. They have not moved. I have them on the ground here. Oh, here they go. Let me show it to you right away as I'm talking about these 2. I have had these 2 keikis. Let me lift the pot up, you'll see it better. The sun is actually shining on the plant. Okay, here it is. So I've had these two keikis since last year, and the root tips have gotten at this level, and it hasn't done anything else. It's just there. The leaves have grown, the stalk has gotten a little thicker, but that's what all it's done. And I see it's just making a couple new roots. This one right there. But that's what they did. It just gave me keikis, and it had no buds, no sign of blooming anything. But since I brought them outside here, and I don't remember what the email said about the bloom, but about the buds looking like that and like this one. He said just continue to leave them in the sun, leave the plant in the sun, which I did. I just left them out here. And a few months ago, maybe about a month and a half, about a month and a half ago, I noticed the buds coming out here now, in all the canes. Let's see if it will focus. Yeah, there you go. All the canes have buds, and these have gotten even bigger. Now I know for sure. I was like really hoping I got blooms instead of keikis this time. So even this old cane here has two beautiful buds there, and this second cane here, it's one of the older canes that is actually going to bloom. And there's just one leaf at the top, and I have a flower bud right there and two more on the sides right here. This is one of the two newer canes. The two newest canes would be these two here. Just trying to turn this around carefully. I didn't want to. This plant is so top heavy, so I had to put it in this ceramic pot here, just so that this one does not, wobble and bend over or anything too much. And so now my new cane, I had to stake it up. It was so shaking so much. I didn't want it to tip over and fall. It's finally doing what I wanted to, which is bloom for me. So I have one bud here, one there, one there, one here, one here, one here, and one here. And I see another little one coming out right there, and one right there. So I am so excited for this plant to finally do what I have been hoping for it to do all along. And that's one of the new canes. Then I have the second oldest cane, which has one bud here. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you know what? Some of these will open first, and then this one's going to come out right after that one right there. It's going to be, you see the little, it's just barely piercing through the sheath, the leaf there that dries up. It just peeking through there. So this plant is doing all in all really well for me. I just was so impatient all these months that it was taking so long to do something for me, and now here we are in March 28th, today March 28th, after 3-4 months of waiting. You see something, and then you just wait, and then finally it's doing this, and I'm really happy about that. It's the first time my dendrobium is going to be blooming like this for me. I've had a couple blooms from another one. This one is called the Dendrobium Fancy Lady Royal Princess. She is a fragrant orchid, and it smells amazing, and it's pretty with white blooms, and there is a little pink in the center, and it's just gorgeous. It smells awesome, and it's beautiful. And I have this one was what I got this one from one of the stores here in my area, and the Safeway stores actually, and I bought it. It bloomed, and then that's it. And this is another old one back there. I am getting a new growth there, and I'm getting another one over there. Then I have this one with the keiki. It's not doing anything besides now it's setting out some new roots, which I'm glad to see. And the actual plant, they all doing the same as the other one. They have buds. They have buds, and they are going to bloom in the spring for me. I mean the summer this summer, and maybe in the next 3 months or 2 months for this plant. This one, maybe in about the next couple of weeks, the blooms will be out more. And I'm just getting buds in my plants all over. So it is a great benefit to the plant when we put it in the sun and just leave them here to get that full sunlight. Then I have one more here that's doing the same, and I'm so happy. And you notice, even though the canes have lost all their leaves, there's just this one, and I see it's going to fall out anytime. And then another one here is going to fall out. The canes actually bloom once the leaves, even though the leaves fall out, the canes will bloom for you. So never cut the canes, even though the leaves are gone. The cane also helps to keep the plant nourished, and it feeds the plant all the time, continuously. So I just have this guy here. It's just not getting bright. It's just getting the bright light. It's not getting the direct sunlight. It will later on as the time goes by. And but in the meantime, I wanted it to be here. It's going to bloom now, so it doesn't necessarily have to sit in the hot sun or in the direct sunlight anymore. Maybe the early morning sunlight between 7 and 10, 11 o'clock. That time of the morning when the sun is just a warm sunlight will probably be good for it. But as soon as the bloom starts to show, it could be removed from the direct sunlight and put in a place like this where there is less light. When the bloom starts to show itself and come out, I will take them inside so I can see them more often and enjoy them as I move around my apartment. And I also invested in one of these plant stands because the plants were getting too much for the living room, and I put them here. I just made 4 shelves. I had 5 shelves, but I had no space with 5 shelves. I had to take one of the shelf out and separate them this length in order for the plants to actually fit, especially some that were tall like this one. It was going over onto the other section, and then I have some really big ones in the bottom. Well, not that big. I have these in the bottom here that are getting some bright sunlight, and they're here getting everything they need. I have one. Where is it? I have this. Oh dear, Phalaenopsis. That's very droopy. The leaves are not very perked up like this one, and nice, and so on. So I have it in some water in the bottom of the. I need to change the water. It's just sitting here. It's not direct in water. It's a pot that's direct in water. So there's a hole in the bottom of this pot, this decorative pot. So the water can just hit the bottom of the rocks. I have lacquer pellets and what you call this, lava rocks. I have transplanted all of my plants into lava rocks, and I've used up all the lacquer pellets that I had, and I mix them, and so that there are no moss anymore. I do have moss in a couple of them, only where I thought it was necessary to sort of keep the bottom of the plant. I just put a little moss right to the top of the plant, but the bottom of it is only rocks, lava rocks, and lacquer pellets, because I noticed that the moss will definitely rot my roots faster than they would if they were in the rocks or the lacquer pellets. Mind you, transplanting a plant for the first time from moss to rocks, lava rocks, will definitely affect it. The root tips, if they're not accustomed to any sort of lacquer or any pebbles like this or anything, once they get that new media, it will die. That new tip will stop immediately, and of course the plant will have to start generating new roots. So the best time to do it, of course, as you all have heard so many times, is to do the transplanting when the plants are now growing, in the growing season. That way it will put out brand new roots, and the old ones, even though it dies off or it stopped growing like some of mine's did, it will send out new roots from wherever it stops. So I have them here in my um, plant stand, and I'm so happy. I bought a shade cloth for this stand, and I said to my husband, how does the sun look on the plants today? And I was at work, and he said, oh my gosh, it's too bright, the sun is hitting on the plant. So I said, you know what, I'll just return it, because it's probably not the um, right shade cloth for the sunlight to actually hit the plants. So I returned it, and I did not buy another one. At the moment, the sun is directly halfway up my veranda. It's not directly into the plants. Later on in the season, or as the months roll by, the sun is going to come hit directly onto these. But as for now, there is no sun hitting them, just the bottom shelf. These guys can take a little bit of sun. And what I do if it comes out really hot, I had a share curtain that I had bought a long time ago for my that I've used, and it's very see-through. I don't use it anymore. I have no place to use this curtain. So what I did was I just put this over my shade, and so it covers this direct sunlight from hitting the plants, and that's the sort of a light that they get. So if it's too hot, I intend to just draw this little shade. You see, they get a little light, and it's so airy, that curtain is just blowing in the wind, and the plant is going to get the right amount of light that it needs, and it's also going to help to protect them. So this is my little setup that I made, and I can draw it back and forth as I need to. I just do that when stepping on it, and I just pull it over, and there we go, and I fold it up in the bottom, and it's all held to the side when I need this sunlight, because this sunlight is nice and warm. It's not hot. There's a lot of rain cloud out there. Well, not a lot. There's some clouds that are going to be coming back and forth on the plants and shading them. And so yeah, I wanted to do this one too. So this is my Radicant reed. It's a reed plant. And so I have a new spike here. It's gotten quite big, maybe about 6 inches tall. And moving around in my little space here where I put the plants, I had a new spike here, and I accidentally bent over and I broke the flower spike off. Bummer, really truly bummer. But I have this one at least. There. Let's see. It's right here. Oh dear, can't see it because the sun is shining so brightly. But anyway, that's my bloom spike right there from my. I can get back a little. And then I have this. This is one flower spike that grew. I have a new growth here. I have one there. I have one here. I have one below there. There. And this is the first one in the top of the stem, the spike. So I heard someone mention in another video, do not cut the spike off your Radicant reed, and this is what you can get. So I just left mine. I did not cut it off because it didn't have anything when I first got it. Absolutely nothing, just the tip. I got it with the tip broken off. There was nothing on the tip when I got mine. And I just left it. It was a young new growth that had the spike, and I just left it without cutting it off, and that's what I'm getting today. I'm really glad about that. I'm really happy about that, to see it's doing so well. And I have some new growth in the bottom coming up. All in all, this guy is doing really, really, really well. It's growing very good, and I'm really, really happy about it. Finally, and it's in the sun, of course, as you can see, the direct sunlight. These plants can take direct sunlight and do very well. All my dendrobiums I haven't transplanted this one. It's still in the I haven't transplanted it to the the lava rocks. It's still, I transplanted it before I started to do the rocks, and then it's still new and fresh media for it. So I'm just going to leave this one in here and just see how well he does. I see that it's sending out a new growth right there, so that's a good sign. And it's going to be sitting in the sun with the others. That's it. That's my plants here right now. I do have a young avocado tree there and another young one there that's coming up, so nice. And this was my palm plant that I think you've seen before sometime. I had a squirrel come into the veranda and he ate off about 6 of my branches. He actually cut it off clean and he took it behind the barbecue grill here and was making a nest. And I guess because we were moving around and moving stuff around, I saw that, and he wasn't there. He just cut it and he put it behind the barbecue. But he was eating my plants, and also something was eating the roots of my my plants. So I didn't want any animals in my veranda. I really didn't want to have to deal with squirrels doing anything here because I need my space and they need theirs. And I figure if I'm going to be here every single day looking at my plants, I will be interrupting them with my noise and moving my buckets and my plants and my bag of rocks. So he'll definitely not be happy. So instead of having him build a nest, I picked up all the leaves and I just got rid of them. So okay guys, that's my little story. Just an added little something. We all have something going on, little excitement here and there. So I just had to share these blooms coming out here with you all, and I'm so glad to share them with you all. So please like my video, ask questions if you feel like, and give it a thumbs up. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's kind of a long video. I hope I can get 22 minutes uploaded onto my channel. Thank you guys so much and have a great weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.